Throughout history, humanity has grappled with a profound question. Does God exist? This debate has shaped civilizations, inspired art, and driven philosophical inquiry. Today we delve into this timeless question, exploring compelling arguments from both believers and skeptics. By the end of this journey, you may find your perspective transformed, your beliefs challenged, and your understanding deepened. Let's begin with the hardest question for believers. If God exists, why is there so much evil and suffering in the world? Think about it. If God is all-loving and all-powerful, how can innocent children suffer? Why do diseases and earthquakes claim lives indiscriminately? The traditional answer, free will, can't explain natural disasters. So, is God unwilling to stop suffering or unable? If so, is he truly God? This question strikes at the core of belief, especially during moments of personal loss. It's one of the most compelling challenges for any theist. But there's another side to this debate. The believer counters with this: suffering isn't meaningless. It shapes us, strengthens our character, and reveals our resilience. Without suffering, we wouldn't know courage, selflessness, or love. And importantly, the very notion of evil, our ability to call anything wrong, requires a moral standard, which only exists if God exists. It's like trying to play chess without a chessboard. And in this analogy, God is the chessboard holding it all together. But here's the twist. What about tragedies with no human cause? Earthquakes, tsunamis, or diseases? Can they have meaning too? We'll explore this soon. But first, let's tackle an even deeper question. Why does anything exist at all? Now imagine this. You're watching a line of dominoes falling one after the other. At some point you'll wonder, who pushed the first domino? This simple idea lies at the heart of one of the most fascinating arguments for God's existence. The argument from contingency. The universe didn't have to exist. Everything in it depends on something else. But infinite regress doesn't work. We can't go back forever. There must be a necessary being, something that exists on its own and sustains everything else. And that being, believers argue, is God. Sounds convincing, doesn't it? But skeptics have a counter-argument. What if the universe is the necessary being? A brute fact that needs no explanation? Or maybe quantum mechanics or a multiverse holds the answer? Do we really need God as a first cause? It's like showing up at a party and asking, who brought the cookies? Only to realize, what if the cookies baked themselves? But here's where the believer's argument takes a surprising turn. One so compelling, it changes the flow of the debate. The debate reaches its climax with the fine-tuning of the universe, an argument that makes even skeptics pause. The believer points to the universe's precise conditions for life. From the force of gravity to the structure of atoms, everything had to be just right for us to exist. Consider this. If you stumbled upon a watch in the desert, you wouldn't think, wow, what a coincidence. You'd assume someone designed it. The same logic applies to the universe. It's too fine-tuned to be an accident. Isn't this just a God of the gaps argument? Science has solved so many mysteries already. Why not trust it to explain the rest? Maybe one day we'll understand the fine-tuning through physics or a multiverse. Great question. But here's something science can't answer. Why is there something rather than nothing? The universe, with all its beauty and complexity, didn't come from nothing. There must be a timeless, spaceless, immaterial creator. That creator is God. The debate isn't over yet. As we dive deeper, more perspectives emerge, each challenging and refining our understanding of the universe, morality, and our very existence. Where does consciousness come from? Why do we have self-awareness, the ability to reflect on our own existence? This is one of the great mysteries of science and philosophy. Believers argue that our minds point to something beyond the physical, a creator who endowed us with the capacity for reason, imagination, and introspection. After all, if our brains are just a collection of neurons firing due to chemical reactions, how do we explain free will? How do we explain our ability to dream, to create art, to love? Skeptics counter that consciousness is an emergent property of the brain, a product of evolution. But can material processes alone explain the richness of human experience? The debate rages on. One of the most compelling arguments for God's existence is the moral argument. If objective morality exists, if actions like murder or theft are universally wrong, then where does this moral law come from? Believers argue that it points to a moral lawgiver, an unchanging source of justice beyond human opinion. Without God, morality could just be a product of evolution or societal norms. But can we trust those sources to define what's truly right and wrong? Skeptics counter that humans evolved empathy for survival. Yet, does that explain our sense of absolute justice, even when it costs us dearly? Have you ever wondered why the universe obeys laws that we can understand? Logic, mathematics, and reason all point to an orderly cosmos. Believers argue this order isn't an accident. It reflects the mind of God, the ultimate source of truth and intelligibility. Think about it. If our minds are just products of random evolution, how can we trust our reasoning to uncover universal truths? But if we're made in the image of a rational creator, it makes perfect sense. Why do we yearn for things this world can't fully satisfy? Believers call this the argument from desire. Our hunger for love, justice, meaning, and eternity suggests we were made for more than this life. C.S. Lewis put it best, "If we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world." Skeptics argue this longing is psychological, but does that truly explain it? Or does it hint at the divine? Look back at human history. Across cultures and ages, the idea of a higher power has persisted. Some argue this points to a shared human intuition, an innate sense of the divine. But believers take it further. They see history itself as evidence of God's hand at work. From the rise and fall of empires to the extraordinary lives of figures like Jesus, history seems to have a moral arc, a progression toward justice and understanding. Believers call this the unfolding of God's plan. But skeptics argue that history reflects human ingenuity, not divine intervention. Can we truly see God's hand in history? Or are we just projecting meaning onto random events? Even in the face of suffering and uncertainty, humans cling to hope. Why? Believers argue that hope is a reflection of our spiritual nature, a yearning for something beyond this world, a connection to God. Skeptics might call hope an evolutionary survival mechanism. But why does it so often lead us to acts of self-sacrifice and faith in a better future? Is hope itself evidence of the divine? Let's return to one of the most fundamental questions. Why is there something rather than nothing? Believers argue that the very fact of existence points to a cause beyond the universe, a timeless, spaceless, immaterial creator. But what if the universe is just a brute fact? What if existence simply is? Atheists argue that positing God doesn't solve the mystery, it just shifts it. Who created God? That's like asking, who made the unmade maker? It's a question that has kept philosophers awake for centuries. From consciousness to history, from miracles to hope, and the very mystery of existence itself. Each argument adds a new layer to this debate. While skeptics see gaps to be filled with science, believers see evidence of a creator woven into the very fabric of reality. We've explored some of the most profound questions humanity has ever asked. Does God exist? Is there a purpose to our lives? Or are we here by chance? From the mysteries of consciousness to the fine-tuning of the universe, we've seen how both believers and skeptics grapple with these timeless debates. The truth is, these questions are deeply personal. For some, they inspire faith and hope. For others, they lead to doubt and exploration. But what unites us all is the drive to seek meaning and understand the world around us. This is a journey that goes beyond science, philosophy, or religion. It's about who we are and what we value most. So now I turn it over to you. What do you believe? Does the universe point to a creator, or is it the product of chance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a space for open, honest, and respectful dialogue, because these are questions worth exploring together. If this video made you think, challenged your perspective, or inspired you to dive deeper into life's big questions, I invite you to join me on this journey. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to The Lost Key, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Together, we'll continue to unlock the mysteries of existence.